That's right, Halloween's come early, my friends. And while video game piracy may not be scary for us common peasants, it definitely is for developers and publishers or those dudes on Twitter who defend billion-dollar corporations. And while the subject of today's video may not be on the ethical discussion of video game piracy, I figured because I'm talking about an imitation of reality, I might as well give my quick 2 cents on the matter to just show where I stand in it all. To me, it comes down to accessibility. I'll never emulate Jet Set Radio because that game's on Steam for $8. And if old hardware from 1999 can play that game, then surely any bare bones basic laptop from the current year should have no problem either. However, a game like Kirby Air Ride is only available on its original hardware, aka the GameCube. Just like a majority of GameCube titles, it's never been released anywhere else, therefore making it a pain in the ass to play. Oh, and it's expensive, so fucking emulate it. And I mean, who cares? Even if you were to buy the physical game, Nintendo's not seen a dime of that money. That game went out of production a long ass time ago. Now, with all that gamer talk out of the way, let's finally talk about stuff that the algorithm actually likes, aka spooky, scary shit. I'm not gonna bore you guys with a brief history lesson on the real life actual anti-piracy screens. It's not really my style. I mean, I'm the dude who talked about my balls 2 videos ago. I'm not gonna act like a scholar, but I will act like a dude on the internet with way too much free time and explain the brief history of the anti-piracy screen trend. You see, somewhere between icebergs before they lost all their value and personalized game cartridges, the anti-piracy screen fad was born. And that's it. Listen, when I said it was gonna be brief, I meant brief. But it's like any trend or fad. It starts off with a lot of excitement and creativity and quality, all that. But then it goes on for way too long and just becomes shit. Listen, I don't want to be cynical, and don't worry, I got a formula to stick to here, so I'll find the silver lining like I always do. But what the fuck am I even looking at here? But let's pause for a sec, because I just want to take a moment to go over the traits that make an anti-piracy screen good. That way you'll have a better understanding of my general grievances. So first and foremost, scary. Not an actual requirement. I mean, scaring people is easy. I could scare you right now by putting a loud screamer out of nowhere, but I respect you guys too much. Although, it would be funny. Hey, listen, no promises. All I'm saying is maybe take out the earbuds and turn down the volume just a bit. If you're somehow listening to this right now, that means you have your earbuds in and are in fact listening at full volume. And don't worry, I'm not actually gonna do a screamer. This is just a fake out, but thank you for listening and thank you for being so courageous. Anyways, forget about scariness. What really makes these good is their unsettlingness. It's unnerving seeing Mario behind bars. It creates a weirdly strange atmosphere to it all. On one hand, I think it's because you're seeing your childhood character in a distressing manner, or even visibly disappointing you for pirating. And I imagine the effectiveness is going to vary from person to person depending on whether or not they grew up with certain games. But on the other hand, it's also the text accompanying the image. To generalize and sum it up, the text often explains how piracy is a crime and how they should turn off the console and report the stolen software. It's really basic, all things considered, but it brings out our irrational fears we carried as children. And once again, it's subtle. It's not trying to be scary by saying something hyperbolic like, you'll die in 7 days, you know? It's not the rain. It's keeping the tone serious, which once again contrasts heavily with a game like Super Mario 64. And now we circle back to this. This ain't it. So a main problem with a lot of these modern anti-piracy screens is that they lean a bit more into the creepypasta side of things. Oh, did I say lean? I meant they took a fucking dive off the deep end and went full on creepypasta. And listen, some of these have a lot of time and effort put into them, and I'll applaud them for that, but it's just doing way too much. Like, yeah, some of these are scary, but they're not believable. Like, do you really think a game developer would go through the trouble of making a custom mini scary level for a person to play? I mean, that's spending a lot of extra hours programming just to stick it to some pirates. And yeah, sure, there are a couple of real life examples of anti-piracy screens doing something in a similar vein, but it's really a needle in a haystack situation. And it's the believability of these original videos that made them so unnerving. The fact that you could possibly see this as being authentic is where the true terror lies. So it started out as a very unsettling and heavily atmospheric subtle horror turned into literally Sonic.exe level of bullshit. But the bar gets lower, much lower, because now it's literally just red tinted gameplay with a sudden cut to black and a screamer playing. Like, it's so bad now that I almost have to think on some level the people making these types of videos now have to be self-aware, almost like they're making fun of the whole genre now. But I'm always going to encourage video creation in any form. as long as there's effort. And giving benefit of the doubt here, maybe these super shitty ones are someone's first foray into video making. I mean, that would make sense. Your first attempt at anything is going to be shit, and it wouldn't sit right with me to make fun of someone's first attempt. However, that does not excuse it from criticism. This may be shit, but at least you can only improve from here on out. So no matter how bad this trend has gone, if the people making these videos are serious, then they will improve. Unlike Nintendo's stance on piracy.